Well, thank you. And through you, Chair, I agree that this work needs to be taken out of the partisan environment of Parliament. Why did the PM not instruct Mr. Johnston to set the terms of a public inquiry, then to decide whether or not to even have an inquiry? Is it not true that a public inquiry is the best way to take this out of partisanship?
I think that's the first question. I don't know that it is his first question, but it probably is the first question he needs to answer, certainly before, Madam Chair, the special rapporteur is able to answer what a mandate should look like. It's what should the mechanism look like? What is the question we're trying to answer? What are we trying to satisfy here? What is the moment we're trying to meet with Canadians here that can give them the satisfaction that we all want them to be able to have in their democratic institutions? What's the best way to do that? First, we have to figure that out. Then you figure out a mandate. And if those things can already be happening or already are happening through other means, and the spotlight just hasn't been shone on them, maybe perhaps to my previous answer to a different question, then maybe that's something we need to think about. So I think there's a lot more to think about here than a binary choice about, inquiry, no inquiry. And that's hopefully what is now happening. And actually, I'm certain it is.
Well, if a public inquiry had started 3 months ago, I don't think we'd be sitting right here in this room today, but I'll leave that to you. So my last question, U.S. presidents do have the ability to declassify information at will in a situation where the government has classified information to clear the air that would help if it was declassified without necessarily disclosing sources and methods that would concern national security. Does Canada have a similar process?
So I've heard the question. I understand the interpreters are not able to hear the question and that the internet connection might be unstable. So I'm not sure if something else is running on your computer. Did something change, Mrs. Blaney?
Nothing changed.
Okay. Can the interpreters confirm that you hear me now? You hear my voice? Mrs. Blaney, can you briefly summarize your question again?
Okay, I'll try. I'm hardwired, so I don't know what could have happened. Presidents do have the ability to declass information at will. If there was a hypothetical situation where the government has classified information, that if it was it would clear the air, and it would be helpful if it was declassified without sources and methods. I'm just wondering if Canada has a similar process.
Oh, okay. It's a very good question, and one I have been asking many questions about myself for the last while, and it's not as straightforward an answer as unfortunately what you just described from south of the border. Having said that, I would encourage you to speak to officials on that further. I don't feel expert enough yet, but I can tell you I've been asking a lot of questions on this in the last little while.